All right. Third time's a charm. Unbelievable. Give it a minute for people to get in here. Now nobody's going to be able to know where I'm at. They'll be like, what's going on? There's Mary. Hey, Mary, how we doing? Hey, John, Wishika, Bobby, good to see you. Unbelievable. I don't know what I have no idea. Well, the first time was my fault because I didn't have my microphone plugged in or the camera plugged in. So that first one was my fault. The second one, yeah, I know exactly, Robert. The second time, it was I don't know, it was just blank. There was I went to go live and the camera went blank. So maybe who knows, who knows. But anyway, third time hopefully is a charm. We don't have any more issues and we can have a good stream. We hope, and we shall see. So, oh my God, that was crazy. I'm like, you don't know what I said off camera because I remember. If you guys remember when I had Angry Prepper here and the camera was messed up, but I didn't realize that the microphone was still working, and both him and I are dropping f bombs and everything else, and everybody could hear it. They just couldn't see us. So that was pretty funny. So the Chigger Holler Homestead. I like that name. Yeah, I like that name. But anyway, so there we go. Good times. Fun with YouTube. That's what we got. We got fun with YouTube. Anyway, welcome, welcome. I hope everybody's had a good week. It's already Friday. Time is going by so freaking fast. It's absolutely crazy. But that's not a bad thing. So before we get into anything, a couple things to just let you know. I will be live streaming on Sunday at 8 o'clock. So I would encourage you all to join me then. We'll have a nice chat on Sunday. So I will be able to go live on Sunday. Uh, it's going to be a very like today we had rain. It's been raining off and on all day. It's been raining more this evening, but so I got Miss Hella is back inside. I was going to leave the dogs out in the run, but because of the rain, I'm like, no, I got to get them in. So puppies are put up. They're put up for the evening, and then Miss Hella is here with me. She's in laying down now. She has a headache. But no, they're good. Um, so I was going to initially work on the chicken run today, starting to get holes done and stuff like that. So that did not happen. But the rain might be good, might soften up the soil a little bit, make it a little bit easier to dig. I do have my jackhammer up here, and I do plan on utilizing the jackhammer to help with the holes. So my game plan for tomorrow and for Sunday before the live stream is focus on that chicken run, and I'm going to see how much of that I can get knocked out and kind of go from there. But yeah, so before we jump in anything, I want to remind everybody that this is a very family friendly oriented channel. I would ask you all to please be decent in the chat, no racism, no nastiness. If you cannot abide by those very simple, easy rules, those awesome people lit up in blue with the blue wrenches are going to boot you out of here because we are not going to tolerate it. So, idiots will still try. They like to play the little games, but my moderators will take care of them really quickly and we'll go from there. So, all right. Oh, good times. Good times. So, been very busy here. Very, very busy. I think the 7 o'clock video tonight, you might have seen me putting the bees in because the bees came. And because I'm actually right now, I got both of my videos up for tomorrow and my video up for Sunday already. So whenever videos I do tomorrow will start for Monday. So I'm not sure where the video process is right now, but oh, there was only the one video today. That's right. So I don't know. Did you guys with the 3 o'clock video? Was that me putting the beehive in? Did you see that? Again, I don't remember. Let me check something. I can actually tell you in a second. Hold on. Let me go here. You're not going to see me for a moment. And I can tell you exactly. Let's see. Okay. All right. I just looked. You're going to see me putting the bees in tomorrow. So the bees, that video of me putting the bees in goes up at 3 o'clock tomorrow. So you'll see that one then. I can't remember day to day what the heck's going on to try to remember anything else. Uh, but yeah, I what I did is I had picked up the bees and I had I picked them up later at night. They ended up being getting them later than they had thought, so I didn't even pick the bees up till like 10:30 that night. And so that video that you see, the first video was the bees in the back seat. I had to wait till like 10 o'clock, and the next morning is when I put the bees in. But I was up early, and I was getting things ready for them and stuff like that. I only got stung one time, so but hey Ed, I will be busy if it don't rain in baling hay. I hear you, Dalbert. No, I hear you. I understand that, but yeah, so like I said, my project for tomorrow and for Sunday is going to be working on this run and getting post in and just trying to get things set up and ready. And that's where I'm at. So slow, like I said, slow and steady. Just going to keep trying to bang stuff out, try to get it done, and then we'll go from there. But like I said, I'm pretty excited about it. I'll be happy to. It's not going to be completed. I'll tell you that right now. If I get if I get all the post in and get the fencing, the first layer of fencing up over the next 2 days, I'll be extremely happy. So, and again, I will share all that with you guys as I do that. But so yeah, and like I said, I got the jackhammer, so I'm definitely going to utilize that. But anyhow, so we're going to talk about the topic of this live stream, right? A judge has been arrested by the FBI. So what's going on? And I just think this is awesome, guys. This is so overdue. It is unbelievable because there's been for so long the rules for them and the rules for the rest of us, right? Well, this judge, a Wisconsin judge, she no, I'm not putting any concrete. I'm putting it into concrete. Basically, this clay that I'm digging into, JJ, is like concrete. So no, I'm not putting any concrete down first. But so this judge in Wisconsin, she's been arrested for obstruction because she shielded an illegal immigrant so that the ICE could not come in and arrest him. She like made sure that he got away, I guess. Um, and it's about time that when you have the government says, the law is, and again, I, I'm going to bring this up first, and this really bothers me. And it's all grandstanding. First of all, it's all grandstanding. The whole thing is just all grandstanding. You had a bunch of congressmen went down to go see this illegal alien, right? That was here in the United States illegally, had been going through the system, was still here, MS-13 member. It's been proven that he was an MS-13 member, but yet and I love a Maryland father. They call him a Maryland father, right? That's the Democrats' term, right? He's an illegal alien. So number one, he broke the law. So him being deported, that's not a us problem, right? But yet these same congressmen, have they gone and visited Lincoln Riley's family? Have they? Absolutely not. It is about time that we have people in office that are standing up for Americans and not for people that are here illegally. That is about time, number one. And if you agree with me or disagree with me, guess what? I don't care. I really don't. All right. I'm so sick and tired of this double standard, that it's okay and this is fine and that's good. I'm tired of it because it's nonsense. You want to come into the United States of America and become a citizen, there is a process that you have to follow. You don't just get to come in here because you want to. All right, so that's all part of that too. But anyway, this judge has been arrested and she's been charged with obstruction, which is fantastic because maybe the rest of these liberal lunatic judges out there will see that this happened and go, "Ooh, we better be careful of what we're doing." If somebody's been arrested, and again, the one that she tried to shield he was in court. So obviously he had done something wrong, and I don't know what he was in court for. I didn't get all those details, but she did not keep him for ICE to come and get him and deport him from this country. So good, good. I'm glad she was charged. I'd like to see her do some time inside of a jail. It sends a message, and that's what we need now. We need to let these people know that the bull crap is over with. We don't have somebody in office sleeping at the switch while other people are running the country, okay, or making the decisions. We finally have a strong leadership. Did you hear about the judge from and his wife were arrested too? I did not hear about that one, Janice. No, just the one from Wisconsin is what I heard about. But like I said, it's about time. There has to there's rules of law for a reason, and because we have to follow those laws, the people in power need to follow those laws as well. They don't get to do whatever they want to do. So, but utmost respect for those people who become U.S. citizens legally. The test they have to take, yeah, the test that they have to take. A lot of Americans can't pass that test. Yep, and I see Santos got 7 years. I saw that too, JJ, which is another one that's a good one. And the amount of corruption, right? The amount of corruption that has gone on with politicians on both sides of the aisle, because I know Santos was a Republican. It doesn't matter. See, there's the thing that I think people don't understand with me. I don't care if it's a Republican, Democrat, whatever the case. If they're corrupt and they're breaking the law and they get caught, they need to be punished for it, period. Because you or me, they're putting us under the jail. They're putting us under the jail. So it's about time we're seeing people having the chickens come home to roost, so to speak. Really glad to see it. And like I said, in these judges that are blatantly going against the law, they need to be held accountable. So like I said, again, I think it's just a fantastic thing. And of course, I already saw like a photo of some nut job out there protesting that. People are insane. People are absolutely insane. But yet, those people that are out there protesting, right? The people that are out there protesting, they don't want those people in their homes. ICE kicked my ex out of the country. Was she here illegally, Joe? They are officers of the court. If they cannot uphold the law, then they need to be disbarred. No kidding. No kidding, Village Homestead. I agree 100%. So, like I said, it's time for the games to be over with. It's time for free handouts for everybody to be over with. We have way too many people that are Americans that are standing there waiting for their handouts. It's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. So crazy world we live in right now. And I'm going to tell you what. And people say to me, "Well, why do you live in the middle of the woods?" Well, now you know. I don't have to deal with a lot of stupid stuff. you know, um, the next 2 days I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying right here, and I'm just going to work on my stuff here. And I'm more than happy to do that, and I'm going to enjoy every minute of it. Have my dogs out there with me and let them run around and have a good time as well. And that's it. So, But yeah, I like my peace. I definitely like the leaves are all coming in on the trees now. So I love that as well. It's just that time of year, you know what I mean? And it's like it's very, very motivating as well because there's just so much that I want to do and get done. And to be able to get out there and the weather be decent and not have to be freezing my butt off, and it's all of it's awesome. So that's kind of like I said, that's where I'm at. So, but it's like I said, it's just and of course people are going to be up in arms about the whole thing, which that doesn't it never stops. There's always going to be people that they like I said, they just don't like Trump because they don't like Trump. Judges and DAs who take outside funding or give political contributions should be charged with bribery and disbarred. Period. I don't disagree. A lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff going on. Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about that a little bit too, JJ. But for what do you got? 204 people in the chat right now. We have 72 thumbs up. So and I'm going to mention that too, Larry. I'm going to tell you about that in a second. So if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I'm going to ask you to please do so to show support for the channel. I do appreciate that. It really does make a huge difference with the algorithms. So the more interaction we have, the better it is for the channel. So I appreciate it for that reason as well. Also, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. And I thank you for that. Okay, so the suggestions were rent an auger for the day, drill the holes that way. We've tried that here before when we were doing the post holes for the pavilion. We rented an auger. Unless it's one of those augers, guys, that's on the back of a machine where they can exert all kinds of force, it doesn't work here. The soil is, well, it's the clay. It's clay and it's like a rock. So a regular auger that I would hold and try to do it that way is not going to work because we've already, like I said, we've already tried that. So just wanted to mention that to the person that made that comment. And I saw that and I wanted to mention that also. Believe me, if there was an easy way for me to do it, and a bit, well, hire somebody to come in and do it. Well, you know what? You guys want to send me all kinds of money to hire somebody to come in and do it? I'm more than happy to do it that way. Otherwise, it's going to be Emmanuel doing it, okay? And that's Emmanuel labor. And manual labor is me. So, and I don't mind doing the hard work. I don't mind doing that. I really don't. So, but it's like I don't have a never ending fund of money to be able to yeah, Dynamiter C4 exactly, Dale. I don't have that revenue stream. I wish I did. That'd be great, but I don't. So, a lot of stuff that I wish I could do a different way. It comes right down to old-fashioned elbow grease. So, and like I said, I don't mind doing that. So, that's not. And I love it. I love it when people say, and I'm just going to put this out here, okay? You need a tractor. You think? Yeah, really? Wow. I never thought of that. Wow, we need a tractor? Well, again, if somebody would like to start up the tractor fund and help us pay for a tractor, I'd be more than happy to get a tractor. It would save me so much work if I had a tractor. But I don't have a tractor and I don't have the money to get a tractor. So once again, things have to be done a certain way because we don't have that. So, all right. So I want to talk about this other situation. And JJ brought it up, and I was looking at that earlier. And I did mention it in my private live stream earlier when I talked to my folks that are hardcore members when I did my live stream at 6 o'clock for them. India and Pakistan are back at odds once again. Now, India and Pakistan don't like each other. There is disputed territory between India and Pakistan, just like there's disputed territory between India and China. Okay, and India and China don't like each other either. Well, I don't know if a lot of people know this or not, but both Pakistan and India have nuclear weapons. Okay, they both have nuclear weapons. There was an incident that just happened where from Pakistan, 3 guys came in and killed 26 people and I don't know how many were injured. I don't know what that number was, but there was a really bad situation that happened there, and then India extracted or revoked, you know, diplomats, and then Pakistan did the same thing. So tensions are definitely rising in that area, and not a good thing. That, you know, like I said, guys, and nobody wins in a war. Nobody wins in a war. So it's scan family question: what would cause someone to go into a seizure coming out of a sedation for surgery? No history of seizures, just common cold a few times in his 30 years being alive. God, I really, man, that I do not know the answer to that. I've never heard of that, actually, to be honest with you. Yeah, coming out of sedation from surgery and went into a seizure. Something, you know, it could be a reaction to the medication. That could be a thing. I would suggest having full blood work done. You know, you go to your primary, and you know, and have, you know, a full test done to try to figure out. But like JJ saying, could be bleeding on the brain. Again, allergic reaction to the anesthetic. There's a lot of possibilities. I'm never going to sit here and say, oh, it's probably this, because I'm not a doctor. I don't make diagnoses, okay? But I can make an educated guess a lot of times. So, but yeah, it's just definitely get that checked out, because that's definitely, if he's never had a history of seizures. Yeah, what was the surgery for? That's another good question. Yeah, I know I haven't seen Asif in a while. Have not seen Asif in a while, so I hope he's doing okay. But yeah, but that's, like I said, any kind of tensions like that, the things that are going on. We have used a pressure washer to drill or cut out an initial hole if you have access to one. Okay, well, like I said, I got my jackhammer and I'm going to use that. They said that they had a hard time getting him under, and when they woke him up, he went into a seizure. He's in a neuro ICU on a vent. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's not good. Dawn was diagnosed with leukemia. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Dawn. Sorry to hear that. That's not a fun one. Oh, rotator cuff surgery. Yeah, that's hey, Mark's in the chat. Welcome, Mark. Yeah, that shouldn't cause that kind of an issue. So there's something else, some kind of secondary thing going on there, scan family. And I hope everything works out for you. I'll keep him in my thoughts. Okay. So, but anyway, a lot, like I said, many times in these chats, talking to you guys throughout the years, things can change in a heartbeat. In our lives, in our daily lives, like these situations, you know, with family, an issue with a family member, you know, getting diagnosed with cancer, you know, not fun, not fun whatsoever. And it definitely changes your dynamics and your perspectives and what your thought process, everything. Um, you know, and then again, events around the world can affect us as well. So, it was a small hospital. They had life flighted him to a bigger hospital after trying to wake him 6 times. Wow. Yeah, that's not good. That is not good. But anyhow, yeah, I'll tell you a story about anesthesia and something that happened. A gentleman that I took care of at home for years. I was with the family for a very long time. He had gone into the hospital to have a temporary colostomy done, because he had some necrotic tissue in his intestines, and they were removing that. Going to do a temporary colostomy. When he healed up, they were going to go back in and, you know, and do all that. And it was change of shift, right? Change of shift. and people weren't paying attention. And by the time somebody realized, he was blue, and they brought him back, but then he was a vegetable. And I'll tell you how the system works too, okay? So somebody the family knew was in there and said it was a change of shift, and this is what happened. They sued the hospital, okay, because the guy was a vegetable. For the rest of his life after that, he was a vegetable. They sued the hospital and they lost. They lost. Um, so to me, when that all happened, I said it sounded like somebody on the jury got paid off because it would be easier. Think about it. Okay, I'm a jury member, right? And we have a millions of dollar lawsuit against the hospital, right? Now, just we're speculating here. I'm not saying that this is what happened. I'm saying this. It seems like it because you don't have to be a rocket scientist to realize that you don't go into a hospital normal and come out a vegetable and not be at somebody else's fault. Okay, um, so if I'm a jury member and somebody comes to me and says, "Hey, listen, if you go with it this way, we're going to give you 200K." A lot of people are going to go, "Yeah, all right, no problem." That's a lot of money, right? But it's a lot cheaper to pay somebody off than to pay out millions for somebody's, injury that was done, and then the hospital doesn't get that ding against them that that they had this happen. So yeah, anesthesia meds. Okay, so that JJ just brought up a really good point. I just explained this to my sister because her fiance had knee surgery and then had to go in and have knee surgery again. And I told her, I said, anesthesia stays in your system for 1 year. It takes a year for your anesthesia to get completely out of your system. And, you know, it's, and like JJ would know as well because he's had several surgeries. It just, these things happen. I will tell you when I had my surgery, you know, when I had told my daughter, "Don't you worry, everything's going to be fine. Dad's going to, we're going to get this taken care of and it's going to be good." My personal biggest concern was waking up after going under. That was my concern. And when I had gone, so I'll tell you a quick story on that one. So they're getting ready to give me a sedative before they rolled me in for surgery because they give you something and then they put you out, once you're in surgery. And the anesthesiologist comes up and she's looking at my chart and she goes to me, "Oh my God." She goes, "You're an A1A." She goes, "I've never had an A1A before." I go, "What's an A1A?" She goes, "You have zero complications." I wasn't on any meds. There was no, I was perfectly healthy other than having cancer. So, she goes, "You're going to be awesome." She goes, "Don't worry, you're going to be just fine." So, that made me feel better. But again, anything can happen during a surgery, and mistakes happen, and people make mistakes. It happens. So for to go in and get that done, and then wake up. Once I woke up, I was like, "All right, we're good now." And but I remember they gave me whatever they gave me, and then they rolled me into the surgery. They got me up on the thing, and they were like, "All right," you know, they were like, I don't know if they told me to count or not. I don't remember, but I remember, man, I was out and don't remember a thing. It was like boom, gone, and then woke up and I was in recovery. So, but I don't recommend surgery. Not a whole lot of fun. Sometimes, unfortunately, we have to have them. So, but yeah, not good at all. So, but yeah, it just one of those systems, one of those things that just happened. But I went to visit my mom at a nursing home. She wasn't there. They sent her to the hospital. Well, that's not good. That's not good. So, Anyhow, like I said, things can change in a blink of an eye. The situation with Pakistan and India, that could get really, really ugly. And those type of things affect everything else. They really do. It's not that big of a world where if they start lobbing nukes at each other over there, that radiation can cause a lot of issues in a lot of other countries, which is not good. Let alone the damage that it would do there. So not good, not good at all. Like I said, we just have to stay focused, take care of and control what we can control. And I always talk about that, like I say, things can change. You don't know. You just got to do the best that you possibly can. With whatever time that we have left, we do the best that we can. I just saw somebody had sent me a video, which I really enjoyed it. And it was saying in the video, whoever made it, like, said a lot of preppers won't make it past 30 days. And I'm like, well, I got to watch that. I got to see what that's about, right? And basically, what it said was in this video, a lot of people focus on food and water and nothing else. They're not ready for anything else. And I think that a lot of true preppers, people that are really preparing, um, they're looking at other options and things and stuff like that. And after watching that video, I felt really good about what we're doing here. Now, I'm going to tell you, are we where we want to be? No, we're not there yet. We're working our way towards there, and we're a lot better than we used to be. You know, um, with people getting places down in here, getting wood stoves hooked up, getting rain catchments going, and all those type of things. Those things make a big difference. Like today, we had the rain today, okay, and so if everybody had their rain catchment set up, everybody would be collecting water. Um, we don't, unfortunately. So, that's Oren preparedness, that especially when the two most populated countries, India and China, are involved. Well, like I was saying, before, you got India doesn't like Pakistan, Pakistan doesn't like India. All right. India has issues with China, and China has issues with India. They both have territory that they're both claiming it being theirs. And like you said, now India has taken over, is the most populated country in the world. Um, you know, so very interesting stuff all the way around. It's just at some point had huge uptick in the wealth buying fancy bunkers and shelters. Oh, that doesn't surprise me, JJ. That doesn't surprise me at all. People are concerned. People are scared, and when you have unlimited resources, it's really easy to put yourself in a situation. But again, okay, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Wealthy in their bunkers, right? One of the biggest things that those type of people are missing or not thinking about is the skill sets that you need to have. Your biggest asset, folks, okay, in a true SHTF situation, end of the world as we know it, your biggest asset is right here between your two ears. It's your mind, your skill sets. What can you do? How ready, mentally ready for something happening are you? JJ, there we are again. The child is here. If you would take care of that, I would appreciate that. And thank you very much. Um, again, what your skill set is really, really important. Really, really important. Thank you, JJ. Appreciate you. Um, that's the most important thing. See, like I told you guys early on, the children will come in and act like children, and they have to be spanked and put out. So, but that's why I got great moderators. You have to be mentally ready. You have to be, physically ready. It helps. It does. All right. Am I physically ready? I'm in not terrible shape. I got a little bit of a gut on me, but I can go pretty good. So I think I'll be okay. I definitely will lose weight in a true SHDF situation. But, uh, you know, you can have all the money in the world and you can be prepped out the behind and have your bunker and all that type of stuff. But somebody stops up your air pipes and stuff like that. Now you're screwed. All right. If you don't have more than one way to get out of that bunker, you're screwed. You know, so there's a lot of things that people don't think about or don't take into consideration. Guys, I hate to do this to you, but I have to go out and use the toilet. So you're going to have to give me a moment. Feel free to talk amongst yourselves. I should be back very, very shortly, and I am sorry, but nature is telling me I have to go now. So I'll be right back. All right. I appreciate your patience. A bunch of people left. That's funny. They're like, oh, he's not there. I'm leaving. Well, that happens. Mother Nature waits for no man. So, uh, yeah. I don't, you know what Robert's asked me was peanut butter. I was sitting here today going, what did I eat? Because that was not my first trip to the toilet today. I'm trying to figure out what I ate. So I have no idea. I'm like, I don't remember eating anything that I shouldn't have eaten. So, no, it wasn't Taco Bell. It wasn't Taco Bell. So I don't know. Yeah, so the reason Robert's asking if it was peanut butter, um, peanuts for me are a natural laxative. So I must be somewhat allergic to them. I don't know. But if I'm ever bound up, have a nice peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and I won't be bound up anymore. So it works. Know what, and the worst part is, like I said, I love peanuts, love peanut butter. Um, I just have to utilize it in moderation, unless I don't care about being on the toilet a whole bunch. So anyway, didn't want to hear that. Uh, yeah, that is, it's weird. I don't know. It's just and the way I figured it out, like I said, I love honey roasted peanuts, and I would eat certain things, and yeah, Reese's peanut butter cups. Yeah, I love those too. It just all of a sudden I would eat them, and then I would have a, soft stool, and I would be like, what is going on? Why am I? And then I figured it out, and like so I stopped like eating peanut butter for a while and peanuts and all that stuff, and didn't have a problem. But I like them, so I still will eat them. But that wasn't what it was this time, so I have no idea what it was. So, but anyway, let's get back to yeah. This conversation has gotten pretty crappy. Yes, absolutely. So anyhow, moving on. uh, yeah, it just doesn't like me. Penis and it just doesn't like me so much. Not quite there. Oh, I see. Cause we, yeah, that's right. It is almost time. I was looking on here. I'm gonna go to 45 on here, JJ. So we've been on the live stream for almost 42 minutes. No, this has happened Hidden Truths forever and a day. This goes way, way back. So it has nothing to do with age. But so we're gonna go a couple more minutes here. So I just hit 42 minutes in the live stream. In 3 more minutes, we'll do the egg count. So we're staying right on track, okay? But yeah. So good times all the way around. So just whatever it is, and this too shall run its course, right? But you know, in all seriousness, getting back to what we were talking about, you know, the strongest muscle that you have when it comes to a true SHTF situation is going to be your mind. Whatever knowledge you have, and that's why I always tell people about books. Books are so important, especially in an SHTF situation. You know, you glad you stayed to catch this? Okay, great. Um, but knowledge is power. It really truly is, and especially in a true SHTF situation, we're going to have a lot of downtime. There's still going to be a lot of things that have to be done. You're going to have a lot of projects that you're going to be working on and doing for survival. But you better have knowledge and know how to do things, and it really makes a big difference. This is my new channel after YouTube canceled Lone Wolf Prepper. Oh, Hidden Truths. Well, I'm sorry that they canceled you, man. That sucks. That sucks. So, yeah, knowing is half the battle. And like I said, preparedness is there's so many levels of preparedness that I don't think that people take into consideration. You better be mentally ready. You better wrap your mind around what needs to be done. Now, if you can be physically ready, that's great. That will give you an advantage over a lot of people. Because I want you to think about this. How many people do you know in your immediate family right now that could strap on a 50-pound rucksack, and that's light, realistically, a 50-pound rucksack and go for a couple mile hike right now? How many do you know, immediate family and friends, that could do that? All right. And I'm going to tell you what, I could. I know I could. I walk these hills all the time, and I might be a little fat, but, physically, I'm pretty strong. Um, in the process, again, of losing weight, it takes time. But, Ed, you hear anything about North Korea attacking South Korea? No, Larry, no, no. That I would have heard about. That would have been out there for everybody. So, Mark said, every month when I'm down there, my body reminds me of how out of shape I am. You're going to get in shape in a hurry, in a true SHTF situation. But again, you got to be careful at the same time, because if you're not used to doing physical activity, and then all of a sudden now you have to do a lot of physical activity, there's going to be an adjustment period, and there will be people that are going to drop dead from heart attacks. They're going to hurt themselves, where they're going to be out of commission. Those things are going to happen. So again, you have to be, careful in that situation and build your strength up. And over time, like I said, there'll be no more of the pleasures that we enjoy now. Those will all be gone. So you're going to have to adjust to those situations, and you're going to lose weight, which will help, and you're going to be more physically active, which makes you lose weight and gain muscle. So those things are all going to be happening. All right, we're going to go ahead now. We're at 227 in the chat. We got 141 thumbs up. So I'm going to ask again, if you have not shot excuse me, a thumbs up, to do so, please, to show support for the channel. And I thank you ahead of time for that. Also, it makes a real big difference with the algorithms. So thank you for that reason as well. And also, again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. And I thank you for that. So, how many eggs today? And yes or no for Miss Betty White starting now. I'll give you guys a moment, and I'll tell you who the winner is. So give you guys just a minute to do that, and then we will continue on with this conversation, because I think there's a lot more we can discuss about that here in the next few minutes. All right, we have a new first-time winner. And if you had the same guess, now, so the live stream, hey, Clyde, how you doing tonight, buddy? Um, the live stream I did earlier, there was an egg count, and I said I got to go check and see if there's any more. So I went out and checked. So the egg count earlier was 3, but when I went out and checked, there was one more. So if you had the same guess as at dash 3 dash D, you had the right answer with 4 eggs today, and yes for Miss Betty White, then you are exactly correct. He has won absolutely nothing, but he is happy about it. I'm assuming it's a he. So yeah, at the at symbol dash 3 dash D. You are the winner, so congratulations. There he is right there. All right, so you've won nothing, but you are happy about it. So there we go. All right, so let's continue on with our discussion. Being mentally ready is important. Being physically ready absolutely helps. It's not just about food and water, okay? It's about protection. It's about location. It's about not just how much food you have, what is your plan when that food runs out, okay? Because you all got to have a plan of how you're going to make yourself sustainable longer term. And that, I think, is really important. I think that's something that some people overlook and they don't think about. Stocking up on seeds, knowing what you're going to do, how you're going to do it. I've been gardening for years and years and years. So right now, and I will tell you right now, I'm not putting any gardens in this year. The focus this year is other things. Now, I have a huge stockpile of food. Okay, I have a huge stockpile of food. I'm not going to share that information, Larry. There's certain things I won't discuss, and that would be one of them. He's asking if we have drones. I'm not going to discuss that, because that's actually, something that people that would look to do bad things would like to know if you do or don't. So I'm not going to address that. I think it's important that you should have them. I'll just say that. But anyway, um, So we have other things we're going to focus on this year here. Um, the important thing is having a plan, knowing what to do, how to do it. We have several people in the group that enjoy gardening. Soil is the key. I'm going to tell you that right now. When it comes to gardening, soil is always going to be the key. And so that's, that would be something that we would be working on right away. You know, having a lot of food is a great thing. We would be doing a lot of canning. Apples, peaches, pears, plums, depending on, how long it takes for our trees, to really start giving us some good produce out of them. That'll be part of the deal, but there's in the area, there's a lot of other cherry trees, apple trees and all those type of things, locally that we would be able to go to and, you know, barter for some of the fruit or whatever the case may be. And who knows, are the people still going to even be there, at that point? You just don't know. So, there's a lot of communication is going to be a huge one. How are you communicating with each other, when those situations happen? And, what are you going to do? You know, are you in a situation, are you going to be able to protect what you have? Like I said, location is very important. I believe you got to be able to protect your stuff. And if you can't protect your stuff, somebody's going to come in and take it from you. I do. Yep. One of the things I would think that you should is very important to stock up on is fishing gear. Now, again, I've talked about in a true SHTF situation, and let's say it's countrywide, okay, countrywide, in very short order, there will be no wildlife to hunt because every Tom, Dick, and Harry is going to be in the woods plugging away at anything that moves trying to get food. Once the population dies off, it will take a long, long, long time for the animal population to recover. That's a fact, okay? Ponds and creeks and rivers, if you got a ton of people in there fishing every single day, it won't take long for that. It's happening now, especially with wild hogs. Well, the wild hogs are all over the place right now. But again, there would be another thing. I mean, there wouldn't be a lot of things to hunt. So, like I said, if you have animals, there's a lot of people in my area here that have a lot of animals. So that would obviously be something that we would be looking to barter, with them for. We should have plenty of chickens between everybody in the group that has chickens. We should be good to go. I have the chickens here as well. We're going to be adding more chickens next month, and so that's just I want to get meat rabbits. I want sheep over goats because you can still milk sheep. You can utilize the wool, which is really important for making more clothing. Because again, when the time comes, you're not going to the store anymore. There's no place to go. Um, yeah, if you have animals, it will call for high security. Exactly. And again, that's another thing. Somebody will always be up 24 hours a day. That's the other thing you got to think about in a true SHTF situation. Somebody has to be awake 24 hours a day. And I'm not talking about one person. You're going to have several people that are going to be willing to be up at night, keeping an eye on stuff. There needs to be somebody periodically doing checks, making sure that everybody is okay, that they are awake, that they're not sleeping. You know, all those things are important, and a lot of people don't think about those things. Um, but there's so much that goes into it. You know, I've thought about a lot of these things for a lot of years. I do have a game plan, and I've talked about that all through the years of what. And again, my thought process is hunker down, stay here, work on what we need to work on here. If everybody's here full time, right? If everybody's here 24 hours a day, it'll take no time to get things squared away. I mean, think about how much wood you could process uh, really quickly if you had 40 or 50 people. Think about that. Little kids picking up twigs, other people cutting trees, other people splitting wood, and just moving it and getting it where it needs to be. You're going to need to have a tremendous amount of wood to burn. You hopefully have your wood stove set up. A lot of people, so many people, guys out there have no clue what they're going to do, how they're going to do it when that time comes. And it's actually kind of sad because they don't even know how to make a fire. So the population will go down really, really quickly. What our goal, anybody that's a prepper's goal, is to ride that wave and hopefully you get through it. Now, again, strength in numbers, I think, is hugely important. I've talked about this so many times, it's unbelievable. But if you have a roving band of 10 guys that are going and picking off easy targets, right? They're picking off this home or that home and stealing their goods and killing and raping and whatever else they're going to do. Uh, they're going to be able to do that pretty easily until they come up against a group of people that are going to be like, yeah, not here, my friend, So again, that strength in numbers is important. Desperate people will do desperate things. I've said this, something else that I've said many times, and I'm going to say it again right now. The most dangerous person in a true SHTF situation, right? The most dangerous person is the person that is desperate and scared and has nothing to lose. That's the most dangerous person because they're willing to do whatever is necessary to get what they need because they don't have anything else to lose and they're scared and they're desperate, and that's just it's a really, really bad combination. Now the other thing is that you need to be able to be ready to do is to defend yourself and your stuff using deadly force. There cannot be any mercy in that type of situation with somebody that's trying to take stuff, because if they take your stuff, they could kill you without killing you, because if they steal your things, your food or your supplies or whatever, maybe you don't make it through the winter because somebody's stolen your stuff. So essentially, they're killing you even if they're not trying to kill you directly. So indirectly. So you better be ready. You better wrap your mind around those type of things. And it's going to be survival of the fittest. It really is. And the fittest is not always physically fit. It's going to be mentally fit. You better wrap your minds around what needs to be done in that situation. And that's why I actually think bartering won't work after an SHTF situation. People will show up to steal what you're bartering. You know what? And I think that's not a bad point, JJ. But to talk with that, if you have made networking, if you've been doing networking with people, all right, and other groups, if you will, and you agree not to go after each other in a situation like that, bartering could work. You just have to be very, very careful. You better be ready again if you're going to be doing bartering to be willing and able to use deadly force if you need to. Because, like you said, yes, there will be people in those situations that are going to look to take that are not going to want to trade. So, my thing again, for a year, minimum for a year, I don't want to wander out. I don't want to, unless I absolutely have to. And that's another point. Yeah. Unless I absolutely have to go out and do something, I want to stay put. I want to work on what we need to work on here, do the things that we need to do. Getting, every open area would be a garden. There would be something planted for survival purposes that way. So, you have to think about those things, plan accordingly, and be ready. So, a lot goes into it, guys. A lot goes into it. So you just got to be ready, thinking about those things, planning. There's a lot to it, a lot more than just stocking stuff up. Um, you could have all the equipment in the world. If you don't know how to use it or put it into practical use, it's not going to do you any good. So that's something to think about too. All right, well, that is the time. So I am going to jump off of here for now. I'm not trying to scare anybody. I don't want, that this is not the purpose of what I want to do. I just want to try to let people think. I think it's important to think, prepare yourselves the best way that you possibly can, and try to make your chances of survival better, and that's important. So anyway, guys, be safe, keep prepping, take care of what you can do, control what you can control, and then when the time comes, we'll do what we have to do. Okay, so I will talk to you all later. Have a great night. Prepper Nurse One out for now.